Hi, this is Lorraine, and I'm getting ready to do another video. If you'll give me just a minute to clear, center, and balance my energy, we'll get started. I'm just going to start really quick with just reviewing what I do when I clear my energy, just so people know that I'm not just sitting here doing nothing. So when I start clearing my energy, the first thing I do is I ask for bring the light in, and I just clear my personal space. So I ask for please clear my person, my space, the surrounding areas of any negative energy or attachments. Infuse me with love and light energy. Empower me on my path to my soul purpose. Help me to truly be a paladin of love and light. Help me to speak in a way that people can hear and understand. Help me to speak in a language or use words that people can relate to and understand. Help me to always trust in my intuition and empower me on my path. Help me to always know my next steps and always trust in my intuition. And so I say that, and a lot of times there's other stuff that comes in while I am going through that process of clearing my person and my space and setting in the intention for what I would like to do. And so through that, as I'm clearing my space, I will start getting messages that just start coming in. This week again, there's so many messages that I just can't. I just hear myself saying, I can't. There's just so much coming in. There's no way for me to discern filter through what needs to be said. I just allow it to come in. It empowers me on my path to my soul purpose, and then when I do the videos, I just convey what's meant to be conveyed, because that's all I can do. I can't sit here and pick what I should or shouldn't say. It's just too much, and there's not enough time for me to do it. There's not enough time for me to create a video that's short enough that people will even watch, because literally it could take me hours to go through all the information if I truly tried to go through it and then explain what the messages mean. So at the end of my last video, when I was editing it, I had a very strong vision. It came in right after the video, right after I finished the video. And it was a raptor, one of the raptors, and I can't say any one, but it stretched wings out to the side, and it came up. Its neck was very long, very regal, beautiful, and it just turned to the side like a bird on a perch that's stretching its wings out, and it just came up. If I would say toes, but they don't really have toes like we do, but it came up on its toes, I'm just going to say that, and it stretched up with its wings, so it just stretched its whole body out, and it looked so amazing, just stunning and regal and beautiful. And it reminded me of this Alpha Draco, high, not these Alpha Dracos on this world right now, but this highly evolved version of the Alpha Draco, let's just say. Just so regal and majestic and very strong in its center, and strong in its commitment to the divine, and strong in its energy field. Very father-like, very protective, very loving, very firm. Reminded me a lot of my Uncle Dan. But that would be the Alpha Draco. But this Raptor just was like showing me all its beauty and glory. And it was just so moving, again, moving me to tears. And so I wanted to draw it, so I drew this, and I'll do a picture in picture. And if you look at it, when he came up, it was, it didn't look like it had arms. It looked like the wings, like a bird. I didn't see arms, but when I was drawing it, the wings came up, and then he actually had arms. Very similar to a humanoid body, but with these really beautiful wings. And then this past week when I was at work, Thursdays can be rather slow, so I put a movie on the TV that we have in our seating area, and it was Aragon. And so one of the students came through and said they spent all the money on the graphics or animation or whatever for the dragon, and the movie wasn't that great. And the dragon had feathers, and he's like, dragons don't have feathers, right? And what was funny is this raptor had wings, and at the bottom of those wings I could see feathers. And I did it in the picture. I have it on the bottom, right down here, I could see. So this whole upper part of the wing did not look like feathers, but the bottom looked like it had, the angles were like feathers. And then when I was having this vision of and seeing this raptor, I remembered the vision that I had when I was doing the videos for the Circle of Creation, where I had seen the headdress, the white headdress with the red band, and I was kind of floating through the void. I want to say flying, but floating really. And then I could feel my arms out even though I couldn't see them, and I knew that there were feathers along my arms. Okay, so as I was flying or levitating, however you want to see it, through the void, I could feel the feathers. And then I eventually turned this way, and there was no physical me, so it was just a representation of my consciousness, right? And so there's two things that came. The feathers representing the evolution of reptiles from birds. So I know we hypothesized that the dinosaurs were originally birds, or birds evolved from dinosaurs, sorry. And so it's showing that common evolution, or they're showing me that common evolution. And then also just that amazing majesty of who they are energetically and what they represent. And I'm trying not to get too emotional and upset over certain things, but I know in Cosmic Disclosure that Randy Kramer said, well, the reptiles, they like humans. They like to eat humans. And so there's this instilling fear thing that bothers me. And so it upset me as I'm seeing these majestic creatures showing me all the beauty that is who they are. Just like humanity, we are beautiful beings in the universe. So are the raptors. They're beautiful beings in the universe. And so to instill fear and say, oh, they have a taste for humans, that's unfair, because let's face it, this cabal and Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, they also have a taste for humans, right? They're cannibals, right? That's what we know, or that's what I've heard. They torture our children. They prostitute our children. They do horrific things to our children. And that is humanity doing that to other humans. Okay, that's the first thing I want to bring up. The second thing I want to bring up is my Uncle Dan. He's my great uncle, was in World War II. And as I'm seeing this beautiful vision of this raptor, I remember him telling me when he was fighting in World War II, and we were watching The Big Red One together with Lee Marvin, and they were giving him rations. They got like these drops of food, right? And he goes, we never got food. He goes, we never got those drops. That didn't happen. He goes, we ate rats. We ate whatever we could get our food, our hands on. We were starving. You know, we were at war and we're starving. And so what that message was you eat what you can, whatever's available to you. Sometimes you don't have a choice, right? And people have eaten some pretty, what we as civilized humans would say, disgusting things. But when you have nothing to choose from, you eat what you have available to you. And so we have no place judging others. My point being is that when these raptors, let's say, are walking down the street, they're not looking at humans going, oh, lunch, dinner, right? That's not who they are. They will defend their people the same way we defend our people, right? When I walk past a field of cattle, I'm not thinking I'm going to go kill that cattle and eat it right now. I'm going to go to a restaurant and get a meal. I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy food and then cook it, whatever, right? That's how we do things. And so when you say they have a taste for humans, you instill this fear or this idea that they see a human and they want to eat it. Well, that's not true. That's unfair. So we have to watch our language. We have to watch what we're saying, and we have to watch the messages we're sending, especially right now as we are opening up to this galactic community, okay? We are going to have people have first exposure to the idea, or their first exposure to the idea can't be they want to eat us, okay? We need to show the beauty of who these energies are, and we also need to teach that humans are as much of a threat to them as they can be to us. So we need to honor boundaries and treat each other with respect and kindness. That is a necessity when we're dealing with anybody, even humans in other countries, which has not been done. If we respected boundaries and honored boundaries and respected people and cultures and honored people and cultures, we wouldn't be where we are right now, okay? So this is a new lesson on many levels as we evolve and change and respecting each other. Right now there is a power structure in place that is deeply rooted in all things, all right? A negative energy, which was the ruling power structure that is embedded in all things, okay? And so for us to discern where it is and who it is or what it is very difficult right now. But that energy is expelling, and soon we'll be able to, it's becoming easier and easier to identify it, and eventually it will be gone. And as we rid ourselves of this negative energy, we need to grow and not act from fear. We need to respond to this new changing world from a place of love and know that these energies, the raptors and the beings in the water, are much more evolved than we are spiritually, and they are open to us, even though we are the greatest threat on this planet. Not them, we are, okay? As far as aggression and fear-based thinking. We are so afraid, and we've been conditioned to be afraid, and we've been conditioned to respond to fear, and we've been conditioned to live in fear. That's our natural state, right? We're always afraid. We are the greater threat. So they are open to allowing us into their world right now. And so we need to rein ourselves in as much as possible and come from love as much as we can. And they will care for us the same way we will care for our children who survived the traumas that this negative polarity has put them through. Okay, we will love and care for our children and help them heal. Okay? These energies, the raptors and the beings in the water, will help and care for us through our traumas. But we have to be open to trusting them. They are much more evolved. And so I'll also say, after I saw this beautiful, majestic energy rise up and show himself in all his glory, in all his beauty, that is his mind, body, and spirit, that is his people and his culture, the message came through, and I didn't know this before. I just knew I was communicating with different energies within the Raptor community, that Sebastian, the energy I call Sebastian, is the highest ranking military officer in the Raptor civilization. The being I call my friend, he is the highest ranking political official in the Raptor community. And the spiritual leader I call Merlin, I started calling him Merlin because he's, what he can do, we would consider magical. He is the highest ranking spiritual energy in the Raptor community. So these are their highest ranking energies in their community. And then as I was clearing my energy just now, a female energy from the water, the beings in the water, came forward, and she called herself Gladiola. She said she loves our gladiolas, so she wants me to call her Gladiola. And I kind of don't want to talk about this. She just showed me from under the water parting, and she said, "We will part the waters for you." And so what that told me is the Raptors have a very masculine energy and the beings in the water have a very feminine energy. That doesn't mean that the Raptors are ran and ruled by males and the beings in the water are ran and ruled by females. It just means that they represent these two parts of divinity, masculine, feminine, and these energies are evolved beyond where we are, so they are able to honor both the masculine and feminine within their communities. And that it's just a coincidence that at this time the military leader, the political leader, and the spiritual leader are males in the Raptor community. Because the president, or I'm just going to call him president because in our country we would call the head of state, the president. He says his wife is a very important component of their structure, his family and then their structure. So he didn't get into more detail about that. But he did mention that, and I see her often. So often whenever I see him or he comes in, his wife is somewhere in the background. I can feel her energy field somewhere in the background. So the other thing is that happened right after the last video. So I saw the Raptor energy come in, and show himself. And in that moment, there was the Raptor, a hand came in holding a crystal ball. The beings in the water, a hand came in holding a crystal ball, and then they came in front of me and they said, "We give you the gift of creation." And I'm not sure what that meant. And I had a vision. I have to find it. I didn't find it before I started this video because I forgot about it, but I had a vision a while ago, I'm not sure when, with a hand with a crystal ball in it. I would say probably at the beginning, like 2020, but I'm not sure. I'll look at the date. And all these pieces are coming together. I'm not sure what that means. I do know, like right now, and since that time, since a week ago, I have massive amounts of energy moving through my body, and constantly my hands are radiating and vibrating. I can feel, I don't know how to put it. I can feel, it's almost like if I had a rubber ball in my hand and I kind of was pushing it on it, and I could feel that pressure of the rubber ball in my hands, but I can feel that all the time right now. Like I can feel it, the rubber balls in the palms of my hands right now. And I can feel the energy coming up my arms. But it's very weird for me to be able to feel this. It feels like I have rubber balls just sitting on my hands. And I can feel it radiating through my hands. And then, like I said, to a lesser extent up my arms, but I can feel the energy coming up my arms. And that's constant. I used to feel it. I would have moments where I could feel energy flowing into my hand and up my arms and into my body, and then it would go away. But right now, it's, for the last week, it's just been constant. I feel like right now where I am is very energetically very toxic where I'm living, and I'll be moving out of this space. There's a few things I need to take care of, but I can feel the energy kind of pushing me out of this space. I have this flower arrangement I did here. I do a flower arrangement every week, and it was extremely difficult to put together, meaning getting it to sit right in the vase. And the symbolism of the orchids is love. Always love, virility, and love. And the white obviously is always purity. The more rare the orchid, the more the greater the love. And so this would be considered, I can't remember what it's called. It starts with a C, C-A-T-T. I can't remember what it is, but it's from Brazil. And this is very rare or exotic. It's not endangered, but it is rare and exotic. And so if you gift someone, the more rare the flower that you gift to someone, the more you love them. And so this is just the intensity of love. And this green leaf, Monstera, I think it's called Monstera. It has a lot of positive connotations, but also suffocation because the way the roots grow. It also represents suffocation. So that represents death. But before there can be something new life, there has to be an ending, right? So it represents not only ending, but it has very positive connotations also of newness, new life, regeneration, and then pink is joy, and something else I can't remember. But when I was putting it together, there's a few things that came to mind, and I'm going to put a link to the write-up I did on it, because I always post my flower arrangements with what the symbolism of the flowers are. But when I was picking the flowers, I saw these as all the special forces guys around me, and this being me, and being unique and different. I called it the ugly duckling, because I always felt like an ugly duckling. I always felt out of sorts. I never felt pretty. I never felt I never saw myself the way other people saw me. So I always felt like an ugly duckling. But my dad, I love my dad so much, and he always made me feel valuable. And so I felt like I had all these beautiful, strong men, these strong energies around me, protecting the ugly duckling. And so that was actually the first thought that came to my mind when I was picking the orchids. And I felt this incredible amount of mutual love and respect and honor with these orchids. And so there's so many messages in these flowers for me, but the one thing was all the love, the intense love, on many levels, the struggle that's still ahead of us, but how the love will carry us through that struggle, and then once we've made it through, the beauty that we will experience, that we will live from that point forward. And I feel like that struggle is always will be worth the beauty that's coming for us, or that will be before us. And then that takes me to the Raptor came in earlier, and very solemn. They came in earlier today. Very solemn, very humbled, very open. And I just said, "Is everything okay?" And they were like, "Just yes, everything's okay. Everything will be okay. Do you need anything? No, everything is okay. Everything is going to be okay." He kept on saying that. And there was an incredible reverence in his behavior. There was an incredible amount of humility in his energy. So whatever these guys are doing, they're doing it well, because I feel like they're in awe. I feel like they are amazed. I feel like they are deferring to that energy, to that love energy that's being projected. I do feel still it's very important for them to take the lead in anything involving the Alpha Draco, because they know how they think, act, respond, okay? But what I think is humbling is how that focus in that love energy from the heart, through the consciousness, and how that's manifesting is just, what they're experiencing, what they're seeing is beyond what they ever could have imagined. And I don't know if you know what you're doing, but they know what you're doing. And so in those actions has brought this unity of the raptors and the beings in the water, Gladiola and Sebastian. They're very, it's changed their perception. Also, In one of the first videos I did about the raptors, I said that they had some of the children that were being tortured and tormented for the adrenochrome, right? And that they had saved them and they were taking care of them, but they stopped doing that because they couldn't save all the kids. We had to, as a people, come together and save ourselves, save our children, right? So they have a small group of them. And they showed me these children, and they're like ready. He said they're ready to come home because they see the change. And I'm not sure what these children are seeing, but they see something that inspires them to want to come home. And the raptors were concerned that the kids were becoming too integrated into their society, even though they kept them separate, because the logistics, we are just more fragile physically than the raptors, and they could be hurt if they just roughhousing with other kids, with raptor kids, they could get hurt. So they had to be kept separate, but still were integrated in socializing with them. He said, my friend was very concerned about them not being able to reintegrate into human society. But since whatever these special forces guys are doing and projecting this love energy and creating this protective field, these kids are seeing in some way, I don't know how it's affecting them, but it's inspiring them to want to come back to the surface. And that's really beautiful. So just projecting that love, it's permeating everything. It's permeating everything. It's permeating the earth. It's permeating the plants and trees and soil and water and all the animals and insects, all things, air, fire, water, earth. Everything is being permeated with your love, and as you send that emotion with the intention of help, healing, and protection, the most sensitive energies to that energy, to the energy you're projecting are responding to it in the most positive way. And it's hard. If you could see it and know it, it's so much easier to just keep driving, like just to keep driving forward, even through all the craziness that's happening on the surface. And I don't even see it, I just know it, I feel it, and they communicate these changes in thinking and perception. And they tell me it's from you. And so I just need to send that message, I guess. And even though I can't show you, maybe when you are channeling and you're projecting that love, when you feel that heat like I have coming up my hands and up my arms, and the crown starts tingling and getting really warm, sometimes even my whole body will feel like it's on fire. That is love energy, divine source energy coming in through you. So that can be an affirmation. It doesn't have to be as intense as coming through your whole body. It can just be in your hands. It can just be in your crown. It can just be, it can be anything. It could be a butterfly landing on you. It could be a puppy. Anything that fills your heart with joy to let you know that love that you're putting out is coming back to you, right? It's coming back to you in that butterfly, not feeling fear and landing on you, and not feeling threatened by your energy field. And that puppy, the same thing. All those things our affirmations. So right now, I've said in the past, there are no white hats, there are no black hats, all the hats are gray. Because you have dark black hats working in the white hat neighborhood or white hat areas, right? And you have white hats in the black hat area trying to help. So everything's mixed up. There's a huge divergence of positive and negative. Everybody thinks, the conservatives thinks the liberals are horrible, the liberals think the conservatives are horrible here in the United States. And there's good and bad on both sides. This negative polarity is in everything. It is in everything. Right now, what we're going to see is the divergence within this white hat community. We're going to see the divergence within this black hat community, because we have to separate them. People can't keep pretending to be white hats when they're black hats, right? Whether you're in the white hat area or in the black hat area, okay? People who have infiltrated the white hats, who have infiltrated the black hats, they can't continue to fake it. The black hats that have infiltrated the white hats, they can't continue to fake it. Right now, everything is going to start coming apart because people have to show who they are. Even out in space, all the stuff happening out in space, all those people who are playing both sides of the fence have to start coming clean. They're going to have to start revealing themselves in order for things to start moving forward, because we can't stay here where we are right now. We've gone as far as we can with people, with all the spy work, let's just put it that way, with people crossing sides and reporting what the other side's doing. That's over. Now people have to pick a side and stay there, because the negative polarity is expelling. So those negative energies have to be identified. The positive light energies need to go to the light side and stay there. I know there is a lot of, how do I put this? So I think there's an assumption that because the energies or the people in this secret space program have access to higher technology or more advanced technology, and on all levels, that they should take the lead, or they will take the lead as this transcendence and this change happens. I would say that's incorrect. I would say the people taking the lead are the people here on Earth. It's going to be the military here on Earth that has chosen to advocate and support humanity, people, especially the people in the United States, and not support this dark energy, and move from a place of love and light and choose to move humanity forward and not try to hold on to old ways. Those people who understand what humanity needs, and are willing to do whatever is needed to move that paradigm forward. Meaning there will be no hierarchies, there will be no financial hierarchies, there will be no political hierarchies, there will be no corporate hierarchies. We need a stabilizing factor for our society, for our communities, to make sure people are fed and that people can continue to support one another. Without this currency structure, because we all know people with more money are at the top, people with less money are at the bottom. That's just how it is. And that's not where we're going. We're going to go to a place where we honor people for their contribution to the whole. And that transition is going to take time. And so we need a stabilizing force to maintain our societal structure as we go through that change. But that needs to come from people who know humanity, where humanity is right now. And people who are out in space aren't living on this planet. If you're on a spaceship and you're going out into other solar systems or star systems or whatever, you're not living here day to day. You don't know what's going on this planet, and you don't know what we need because you're too far removed. So the change that happens on this world is going to be spearheaded by the people living on this world. And the people living on this world need the support of the raptors, and they need the support of the beings in the water. And so they need to have a relationship with these energies, not people out in the secret space program, not people out that are totally far removed who think, well, we know extraterrestrial beings and we know how they work. Well, you only know how they work from your perspective from being out here. We need to work with them from our perspective down here as part of our community, because they are not extraterrestrials. They are earthlings. They just have a different genetic code. They have a different DNA. They still live here, and they're still part of Mother Earth. And so we need to build relationships with them. We need to build our relationship with them on all levels. And we need to learn how to honor and respect their culture, their boundaries, right? Their people. And that means people on the earth who live on the earth need to do that, not people who are living out in space. And that's important as we move out into space, because we will be a unifying force as a planet. Because if there's any threat to this planet, we need to unify together to defend Mother Earth. And so all paradigms are shifting. All structures are shifting. They're all changing. And again, I'll just say the military is going to be the stabilizing force as we go through this transcendence. And that's what, and on another level, I'm going to say these special forces guys who are driving from the heart and creating this protective field around Mother Earth from a place of love and compassion, because who better to show compassion than someone who's completely been traumatized. They have our traumas. I've said this to so many people. Our traumas is what creates empathy and compassion, because once you know pain and suffering, then you can have compassion for other people's pain and suffering. If you can't relate to somebody else's pain and suffering, and that doesn't mean you have the same type of pain and suffering, but just to know pain and suffering teaches you compassion. Okay? And so these guys have so many experiences on so many levels. They have intellect, they have intuition, so they're connected to that higher self and source energy. Intellect, intuition, and then they know battle, they know war, they know that there are no winners in war. They've been there and they've done that. So who better to try to avoid conflict? And who better, if there is conflict, to advocate and fight or project love energy? Those with the very clear understanding of their intuition, the energy field, their energy field, and how to project love from that energy field to create a protective force and a protective field around the things they care about, right? They already have this alternative way of perceiving the world and protecting the world. They're their traumas inspire them not to go to a gun for first thing. And I think humanity has been conditioned to be fear-based, to live in a fear-based life, and to always go to aggression to protect themselves. They feel like they have to fight to protect themselves, that fight or flight type mindset. And so the people who still work from this place, fight or flight, can't be the ones driving forward this transcendence. They can't be the ones creating the stability in our society if the first place they go is always going to be to fight. If they're always suspicious of anything and everything around them, that we can't come from that place anymore. We have to listen to the intuition, the higher self, and know that when we step into someone's energy field, that the information coming to us is true, and be able to discern that energy. Okay? And so what just came to me really quick was, I'm going to walk into this energy field of a raptor and know he's not thinking about me as lunch, right? Because we already had that seed planted that reptiles like human flesh. They'll eat anything and they like human flesh. Okay, so what's the first thing that's going to happen? If you've heard that, if somebody said that to you, what's the first thing that's going to come to you if you're in the presence of this energy? Oh my God, they're going to eat me. Well, if you are able to access the higher self, your intuition, step into that energy field and see that, feel that energy of love, compassion, regality, the boundaries, the clear boundaries that they have, then you know that is absurd, right? That truth, that statement, that feeling, that fear is absurd, that they'll eat you, right? But you have to be able to tap into that higher self in that energy field. You have to be confident in that intuition. Otherwise, your fear will get the best of you. And so, I guess from there, I'll just say only the people with the highest vibration, who are able to tap into that higher self and into their own energy field, so they can connect with other people's energy fields, other energies, raptors or the beings in the water, to know that they're not a threat, and will be able to communicate and will be able to make first contact or continued contact with these energies. If you are living from a fear-based place, then you cannot go into these areas. I don't care if you've been there before. It doesn't matter if you've already been there. Because if you've already entered that place from a place of fear, if you've already entered that place from a place of skepticism, if you've already entered into that space as someone who questions their integrity or their intention, then you've never been able to tap into your higher self and walk into their energy field and know their intention, because that's not where they come from. The only thing that will put them on their guard or put them in a defensive posture is if you come in as a threat. Otherwise, they are very peaceful creatures, and they're not coming out to get you. All right, they're not looking for dinner. Okay. I think the beings in the water can, I don't want to say they can be equally threatening, but because there's something that's unfamiliar and people don't know how to respond to them, and that power of over water that is our planet's 75% water, that control that they have over the water, humanity can consider it a threat, because we can't control it. And maybe that's why we don't really engage them too much, because we're just going to let them be, because if we push them and trigger them the wrong way, they could wipe us all out. That being said, I'll also add that there are so many what we would consider extraterrestrial beings in the water, because we're land animals, we're land creatures, right? We're on the land. We're not water beings. We don't have gills, right? There are so many beings of love and light living in our water. There's countless. The gladiola and her people are indigenous here to Earth. They've been here for so long. So long. So this is their world. But there are many beings that would be considered extraterrestrial that are in the water. Just numerous energies. Obviously not a threat. So I don't want to keep talking, but I think the most important message was first that vision of the raptors, the regality of them, the fact that Sebastian came through and said that everything's okay, everything's going to be okay, affirmed and showed so much gratitude and humility with regards to what these special forces gentlemen are projecting into our energy field for Mother Earth, on the earth, in the earth, around the earth, and how powerful that energy is, that love energy that they're projecting, and that humility has come from both the raptors and the beings in the water. Gladiola and Sebastian both expressed just utter amazement with what you have been doing with projecting that love energy and expressing gratitude. So I think that we are in a very good place as far as transcendence and change and what your power is able to do. And I'll just say, from a personal perspective, I hope truly in my heart that you know that all the things that you've been through in your life, through this lifetime, that have brought you to this place, was worth it to help create change on this world. And that you will live to see that change, so that you know that everything you sacrificed and everything you did, your initial intention of going into the military and what you wanted to do and how that was bastardized, you're being vindicated through this opportunity to use that discipline and that mastery of the emotional body to create change on this world in a way that nobody else could, in a way that is unique to you, because you are powerful and that you had a purpose on this world. And you're able to live out that purpose right now and do something beautiful and good and transcendence for you and this world. Only you could do this. Nobody else could master the things you've mastered. Very few. So I hope this vindicates and validates you, and that you know how powerful and good and strong and valued you are, and how grateful so many are, including me, for what you're doing. I would just encourage people to maintain clear, centered, and balanced energy and view this world from a higher perspective, from a place of love and compassion, non-judgment. Understand that there are no white hats or black hats, they're all gray, and we are moving to a place of honoring everybody, all people, all walks of life, from a place of love and light, from integrity, and the change will be profound, and it might be challenging at some points, but humanity is good. We are good. We are good people. We are good to each other. And when we are struggling at our greatest, we are still available to help one another. Okay? So many will make themselves available to help one another. So just remember the goodness that we all carry in us and what we're capable of. We're beautiful beings in the universe. And over time, we're going to show, as we heal, we're going to show how beautiful and exceptional we are. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.